Brothers and sisters, soldiers and soldierettes, salute! And we are back to conquer another day. Because when we are alive and breathing, man, we can always make today better than yesterday. And so on and so forth. Salute! And I give honor to our ancestors whose spirit is alive and well, and many great brothers and sisters out here, and well as our family. And may all of our families prosper and everything we touch turn to gold. And those that are no longer with us, may they rest in peace and in power. And that's in all of our melanated brothers and sisters families, you know. And I thank those that have been riding along. Remember, we're leaders and teachers, not followers. I appreciate you, whether you react or not. It's all about connecting and getting that energy and learning something and taking it and incorporating it into our lives. Not about attention. And it's all about, if you got something out of what I say, and as well as many other reachers and teachers. Remember, because we keep a family spirit. Be thankful if you learn things from teachers and have the discipline to incorporate it in our lives, because it's a very beautiful thing. Salute to all, and I appreciate you. And this is another edition of EBX Discussion. And what I want to get into, my sisters. Our sisters have a divine beauty. Now, a lot of us brothers, we know this, those that are righteous and truly, deeply self-aware. And sisters know too, but I'm kind of speaking from the brother's point of view. And, you know, as we get older, as we mature, as we change as we supposed to as a black man, as a mature man, and we become more wiser. You know, we become more wise. You know, I don't know, was wiser a word? But yeah, we become more wise and disciplined within our spirit, and it's just things we don't do anymore, especially when we're on a righteous path. Because when you're on a righteous path, you're on the right path, no matter the size. I always emphasize on that. It's what's in the heart that matters. And a lot of things on the outside of us will tap into our emotions sometimes and make us feel this way or that way. That's why it's important to what? What do I always say? Study thyself on the regular. Because things can sneak in sometimes, and this is brother or sister, young or old. Study thyself on the regular basis, and you will conquer so much ground this way. And like I said, sisters, man, our sisters have a truly true divine beauty, but they have to know this within. I'm talking about that inner beauty, and I've talked about this before. And something else I want to touch on. Being true to oneself is better than sex. Yes, I did say that, and I've said this before. Being true to oneself is better than sex. All day, every day. And when I say this, I am a man, and there's different qualities in sisters that I like. Like I like voluptuous sisters, you know. And not so much, I mean, I go off the character, the spirit, you know. And everybody has, you know, a certain kind of sister they like, you know. But when we get, like I said, when we get wiser, we start looking at the inner, the spirit. And that's what is most important. Some learn this right away, some learn too late. But as long as we learn, you know, and our sisters need to know this, especially sisters, a lot of them do. There's a lot of sisters these days that know who they are. You know, not using their body to manipulate or, you know, and this Instagram. Now, before I finish talking about Instagram, some of these sisters on Instagram, don't they know they're going to get old one day? And I'm talking about the ones that's, you know, want you to go in DMs, and if you want sex chats and all this, it's ridiculous. It really is. But again, like I say, I'm not a prude. I love a voluptuous sister. I love a beautiful sister. But like we heard in the movie, one night of passion can give you a lifetime of pain. Real talk. So that's why it's true to what? Be true to oneself. And this is brother or sister. But again, like I say, speaking from a brother's point of view, you know. And another thing we heard in the movie, you know, these are not my sayings, but it's a great great saying, like the guy said in this movie. We all seen this movie. The older our mind gets, the better choices our genitals make, right? And that is so true. If those that have wakened and come to know this, it gets real as we get older. As long as you trying to grow and trying to learn, we will see things. So, I will always appreciate our sisters, even those that, might be in a certain kind of space. Because I've said so many times, we all, melanated brothers and sisters, have come through some kind of conditioning. But it's just unfortunate that some brothers and sisters either can't or won't come out of that conditioning. But we have to discipline ourselves, because I always say what we do in the present matters so much what happens in the future. And something my sisters on Instagram that's, sending photos and DMs and I get a lot of, but they're beautiful, nothing, I'm not trying to tear them down, but I just wish they could see the real beauty within them other than the outside. Because when you're just living off your body, sisters, and you're just manipulating and trying to seduce and seduct with your body, you're going to invite the wrong company. This could be male or female, because you got females that like females too. And you never know what's going on in a person's mind, and you really have to discern. I know we hear that a lot, but if you don't have discernment, if you don't have some kind of discipline, if you're not true to oneself without having to be seductive and use your body, you're going to come across a lot of challenges. And one thing we got to remember, my divine sisters, and you are divine, even if you are kind of stuck in some kind of conditioning, you are divine. And we just have to pay attention to those red flags, those hints that great divine gives us. Because like I say, that truth comes for all of us. There's no exceptions to that rule. They say, I don't believe in the Bible and Jesus and all that. But you know how they say Jesus come like a thief in the night? So I'm just using that as an analogy. As a flip side of that, remember, we can draw truth from the Bible, but we got to sift through it and find that real truth, So this is one of them things. So I'm just using that as an example, because I'm not into religion, but I'm just using that as an example. They say he comes like a thief in the night. It's really the flip side. The truth will come like a thief in the night almost, and we can try to deny it. And, but when we by ourselves, that truth is going to haunt us. Been there, done that. So that's why we have so many warriors out here, brothers and sisters. Because again, a lot of us have been through the discipline filtering process. And I actually, like I say, I'm not a prude. I love my sisters. I like voluptuous sisters. I like dark-skinned sisters, And I don't focus too much on the attraction of the physical, but I kind of like, my sisters to be attractive, but that doesn't really play a very big factor. I want the spirit, Once you know that spirit and know a person's true colors, then you can connect, whether it's positive colors or negative colors. We already know if they show their negative colors what to do. So, but a lot of times we have to talk to our sisters and really get to know them and see what's going on inside, see why they are the way they are. So that's why it's good to study every situation that we come into. We deal with it accordingly, and like I say, I don't do social media like I used to. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Instagram. I be on there every blue moon. I don't do Twitter. I don't have a TikTok account, because social media is underrated and it's getting ridiculous. It really is. Some parts of it's getting really, really fucking ridiculous. So that's why we must and always better be true to oneself, especially our brothers. You better be true to oneself, because karma is a mother hubber. Karma's nothing to play with. Pay attention to those red flags. You don't always have to respond to a DM message or a beautiful sister that's sending you a DM. Now, if she's saying something positive or she just saying hi, there's nothing wrong with that. But you still have to be careful, because you never know what's going to happen down the road, my brothers or my sisters. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of freaking cure, and you would love yourself later. And like I say, play out scenarios. If you did do something that you shouldn't do, play out that scenario. See how you think it would go. And when we do this, that's a part of discipline. When we play out scenarios, when we do this from time to time, we will dodge a lot of bullets this way. As we get wiser and get a little, and we really don't have to be older to be wise. You can be wise at a young age, brother or sister. So it just depends. It always depends on that individual. It always depends on how we are within. So, like I say, I have females follow me, not follow, well, I guess they are following on Instagram. I don't like that word follow. But, they follow me on Instagram, and a lot of times I don't respond. And so I used to follow them back, but I stopped now because you have to be careful who we follow. And it's unfortunate that it's like this, but in some of these websites, outlets, you have to be very, very careful what we follow, because people that we are righteously connected to, they'll see the individual that you're following, and they'll think that you're into that type of sex chats and DMs. And I've learned my lesson from that. Now, when I wasn't aware, and this is decades, I would say a decade, it's been about a decade ago, it's been a minute that I have had those little lustful ways. I fought off them lustful ways. Now, again, like I say, I have little desires. I'm a man, I'm gonna see a sister and, be kind of attracted to her and all that. Of course, that's a part of the human body, but it's about disciplining that human body. And it's vital that we do this. I'm telling you, and it's brother or sister, because when you definitely true to oneself, when it comes to everything, whether it's negative or positive, you will always come out unscathed. And like I say, always do a little introspection on every situation and see what could have happened, and that's what will make you not, fall into, sex chat. I call them sex chat traps, or DMs and all that. I'm telling you, you better be careful of that mess, and remember, some of these sisters, unfortunately, a lot of their body parts aren't real, and sometimes they're not sisters. Because I've heard the horror stories. We have, look like females and they don't be. And, it can be, really good at it. Really, really look and be attractive and all that. And don't even be a female. So that's another reason why we have to be careful, So, and something that I always like to say. And something I always say, an example that I always like to give. Well, not really an example, but don't start something that we can't finish. And that's brother or sister, but especially my brothers. Don't start something that we can't finish. Get yourself into that either is a challenge to get out of or can't get out of. So that's why we have to be careful. Meet people in person, talk like two human beings. We go out to eat or a movie or any kind of date, put the phone down, talk to each other attentively, if I said that right, and really get to know one another. Get in there, ask questions. Learning to do this. I'm getting better at this. I'm good, but we can always be better. So again, like I say, our sisters have a very, very divine, beautiful, drop dead gorgeous, but it have to come within. And a real sister, not that fake shit, not the fake boobs and the fake butt. Not into that. I'm not into that. I want all natural. So I'm gonna break down. Now we all know what being true to oneself means, but as I always do, brothers and sisters, we're gonna go deep into depth, and we're gonna go into why it's so very important for brothers and sisters to be true to oneself. And this is another meditative moment. Okay, here we go. Being true to oneself means you don't worry about pleasing other people, living by someone else's standards or rules. You don't care what people think of you. You live as your natural self without compromise. Let's read that again. Being true to oneself means you don't worry about pleasing other people, living by someone else's standards or rules. You don't care what people think of you. You live as your natural self without compromise. And I'm going to do a show on compromise because I kind of know what that means, but I'm going to go into depth on it because that's another one of those words I don't use in my vocabulary. So it's very important to be true to oneself. It's more than just saying it, brother or sister, young or old, children, adults, significant other, family. It's very important to be true to oneself in every aspect of our lives, even when it's challenging, even when the whole world's against you. If you be true to that divine will help you be true to oneself. Do everything, And like I say, we're going to come through little tests, but when we are finally self-aware and have studied all our lives, we will know when we're being tested. So, and you will get tested. Sometimes it'll come subtle. Sometimes it'll be aggressive. Sometimes it'll be in person, place, or thing. When you're aware and you got that spiritual eye open, that pineal gland, you will see the tests that try to sway us. So you just always got to think about the future. Always got to think down the road. And I told one of my spiritual daughters this when she was having a challenge when she was pregnant. And I talked to her and I told her, think about your future. Think about down the road. Don't think about now. And I have to say, the divine has taught a lot of us readers and teachers to be very, very good observers. And I observe and I study, So, and not just study others. I study others, but I also do it so I can know myself too, because I study myself all the time. So, and it helps me to see things in others. That's why you always hear me say we all have been through some kind of conditioning, especially melanated brothers and sisters. So I always start with that first to understand why an individual is the way they are, whether they're brother or sister. So it helps because it keeps me from bashing. Unless somebody's just evil, toxic, and just full of chaos, that's different. We have to approach it in a different way, more aggressive. But if a brother or sister just, under that conditioning that, like I say, that we have come through, a lot of brothers and sisters are still in that conditioning. That's young or old. And I gotta say, my sisters, especially, I'm talking not the ones that are waking, but those that want to do sex chats and showing your body on Instagram, don't you know you're going to get old one day? We have to think of the future. We can't just, I'm having fun right now. You're not going to be young forever. So, it's a time and place for everything. Of course, we enjoy our lives, and be, have fun while we're young. But we still have to keep the future in the back of our mind. We have to watch what we do in the present. Because, like I say, karma's nothing to play with. And karma's a factor in all of our lives. So if you learn nothing else from me, brothers and sisters, as well as we learn from a lot of reachers and teachers out here, salute to the reachers, the real emphasis on real, like-minded reachers and teachers. And that's also in our families. Let's not forget about our families. And be thankful for that, because being true to oneself is the gift that keeps on giving. And it's always better than sex. Not that one don't like sex, of course. Who doesn't like sex? But it's all how we think about it, how our mindset is. And, it protects us when we have a sense of discipline within. We dodge a lot of bullets and we see things for what they are. And we won't jump on every female we see and want to get with this and that. And, because, man, what a tangle web we weave. We conspire to deceive. That's real talk. And, we have to be true to oneself. As challenging as it is, it's supposed to be challenging. That's what makes us what? Tougher, stronger. Strong like what? Steel. Nothing can penetrate steel or a divine spirit or divine mind, but we have to study oneself consistently, because there's always going to be things that come at us, especially when you're righteous. Because when you're righteous, like deeply embedded spiritually to the pit of your soul, all the toxicity around us will be highlighted, because when you become self-aware, you begin to see things that's always been around us, but you start to see them, things that you didn't see before. you begin to see them. And that's whether it's in person, place, or thing. So that's why I say you better be true to oneself, you know. So, and so because and also we always got to remember that we are connected to loved ones. So we can't be hiding in the dark and doing dumb shit, you know. Been there, done that. Decades ago, though. Been there. So, and some things, I mean, we shouldn't go through, but some things we need to go through just so we'll know it for later on in life, you know, and be like, ooh, I'm glad I don't do that no more. You know, that's a great feeling to have that. When you come into a situation and you don't do what you would normally do and you back up from it and you meditate about it, you think about it, and you say to yourself, oh man, ooh, I'm glad I didn't. Because you have to think about and I'm going to tell you why meditation is good. Because I was doing this yesterday in the morning when I woke up. I meditated on the things that I'm glad I'm not doing. You know, not chasing women and not trying to get numbers and, you know, trying to have sex. And because one's in a safe space. I'm talking to my brothers or sisters, but this is mostly for my brothers. When you're in a safe space, when you're not trying to hit everything you see and not, you know, and you're looking to connect, you know, and then when we finally do connect with that righteous sister, that right one, our mindset will be right. Because when you go into, you know, if you're going into a relationship or you're going into a marriage or whatever, you know, you're trying to get with a sister, whatever. When you have that right mindset, you will see the flaws in her. Because when you're a sexual deviant and your mindset isn't right, you won't see the things that's wrong with the significant other, with the sister you're trying to get with. Because then you can maybe help her to come out of that conditioning. Because sometimes some sisters probably are not aware. They think, because like, again, we've all been under that spell, you know, so some don't realize that they're under a spell, you know. And I truly do think most sisters in any social media outlet that's giving their body and using their body and have no spiritual awakening within them, they are truly under a spell. And I think some of them don't realize that. And I'm telling you, going to get old one day. So I said this 1,000 times, but I'm going to say this because it's important. Remember, brothers and sisters, what we do righteous in the present, always and forever, benefit us in the future. Real talk, no matter how challenging it is. Being righteous is always the way to go. So I'm telling you, be thankful if that great divine has put real things in your spirit and helping you to help others, because that's what it's about. We got to help one another, not tear each other down. So my sisters, again, you have, man, so much more than just your body. Because I've heard sisters speak, and online and in the world, they got the most beautiful spirit, man, that you could ever, man. You make you even forget about what they look like, because the spirit be so strong. And that's what's important. So we got to get past that, get past the sex thing. If it's not a spiritual connection, it shouldn't be done. I mean, unless it's spiritual, and it's meaningful. Because, okay, you get with an individual that you're not spiritually connected to. You see him in the club or something. Y'all just get together and don't get to know each other or go on a date. Okay, you have sex. Okay, then what after that? Then what? Then that's when the problems occur, because you didn't take time to study each other. So that's why it's important to study each other, so we can see the little things that we have harboring in our body. And we don't only study our sisters for them, we also study them for ourselves, because sometimes we can come across flaws that we have within us, brothers. So that's why it's good to study our significant other and ourselves, so we both can be balanced. And that's my thought. I was just in my spirit, and because when I do go on Instagram, I swear, it's every time I go on there, it's some girl trying to be seductive with her body, and it's getting old. It's really getting old. And Twitter too, same thing. And you get these little porn links. It's just freaking. It's fucking ridiculous. It really is. So, but like I say, you spiritually rooted in your divine spirit, nothing can penetrate that. Because being true to oneself is always better than sex. Because when you're divinely connected spiritually, it won't even be sex. You won't even look at it as sex. So That's my thought. And remember where that toxic side of sex came from. It didn't really come from melanated brothers and sisters. It was pushed on us. So we got to know that in order to come out of it, because this is not us. This is something that was put on us, and we got infected by other entities that made a lot of us this way. So you have to be knowledgeable to know things like this, self-aware. Make sex a beautiful thing, not a lusting thing. Because then when it's a lusting thing, you feel all stupid and ashamed. And you shouldn't ever feel ashamed about sex. If you're feeling ashamed about sex, you're not truly rooted, spiritually. We should always look to see our inner glow within our sisters and ourselves. Man, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So, but again, like I say, I'm not no perfect brother. I'm not this righteous brother that never have desires and see sisters that I'm attracted to. But I know the outcome of not being spiritual and just, chasing women. I know the evidence of that. I know what comes after that. So when we know this, we will be true to oneself. Don't forget, my sisters, all my sisters, man, have a divine beauty. You need to know this. I had to pause on that because I had to just think about how beautiful our sisters can be within and out. So that's my thought. Stay true out there. Study. Don't let nothing take you out of. If you in a righteous space, and this brother or sister, especially my brothers, if you in a righteous space and you doing good and you safe, as far as you don't have any drama, you're not caught up in a sister that has an ex-boyfriend that's crazy and all that old mess. If you're not caught up in any of that, be thankful. I'm just using that as an example. So we just have to analyze things, and study and be careful. And I say one more time, being true to oneself better than sex, all day, every day. So that's my thoughts. Stay divine, my sisters, and stay the soldiers you are, my righteous brothers out there that know what it is and see the inner beauty in a sister. Man, stay with it. Don't give up, my brothers. So, and my sisters, stay divine. And I'm telling you, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So that's my thought. And I thank those for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion. Current subscribers, new subscribers, and salute to the reachers and teachers who's out there doing their thing. Some that I have learned from. It's beautiful when we can connect like that, brother or sister. And I honor your family. I honor my family. I honor my children, their mothers, brothers and sisters all over the world. May you please have the ultimate peace in your part of the world, wherever you are right now. Salute.